Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to your Mindful Monday session today, Monday the 15th of March. Lovely to have you here. If you can just let me know if you can hear and see me okay, that would be delightful. I can see a few people coming in. As always, we will just give it a few minutes for people to filter into the room. Hopefully you can hear and see me. Paul says yo. Yo back to you, Paul. Yo indeed. I'm guessing that means you can hear and see me okay. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. Fantastic. Lovely to have you here. Thank you, Nick. Lovely to have you. And Paul, lovely to have you here, of course. And yeah, we'll just give it a minute or two. Beautiful. Helen says that she's coming in nice and early. Okay, good, good, good. Perhaps you were a little bit later before. Let me know. It's always nice to get here at 12:30, and then we kind of ease our way in. So I find that's always a nice way to start. If anybody's a fan of Winnie the Pooh, you can get a Winnie the Pooh water bottle with your initial from Tesco's at the moment. So I'm a big fan of Winnie the Pooh. I say a big fan, I'm more of a fan of just the way that he goes about his day-to-day life. So yeah, I think he's a very good teacher of mindfulness, actually. So that's why it's relevant. I'm not plugging products. Don't worry, it's not going to turn into that kind of a session. Hello, Mary. Hello, Corinne. Hello, Kate. Hello, Sarah. Fantastic. So we might just give it one more minute. So go ahead and get yourself comfortable in whichever way that makes sense for you to do that. And yeah, we'll get going in just a minute or so. Mary asked, do I like honey too? I don't dislike honey. It's not something I have often, but yeah, I do like a bit of honey now and again. Hello, Mandy. Welcome. Welcome. I prefer the kind of the non-squeezy honey than the squeezy honey. So I often I suffer from hay fever, usually kind of springtime, and something I've used over the years is a bit of a local honey to help. I don't know if it helps or not, but it sure does taste nice to have a little spoonful of honey, for sure. So okay, let's get going, and lovely to have you all here. As always, we'll start with defining mindfulness. I don't know what the day is like around you, but we started the day maybe a little bit grey and a little bit of rain, and it seems to be clearing and the sun is coming out. And I think in the UK we love to speak about the weather, right? But it's a perfect metaphor for the mind. It's a perfect metaphor for our thoughts and feelings that come and go, just like the clouds in the sky, just like the rain. And what is constant is that sun, even when it's nighttime and it seems like there is darkness, the sun actually hasn't gone anywhere. So I like that metaphor anyway. So let's go for it. So mindfulness means maintaining a moment by moment awareness of our thoughts, our feelings, our bodily sensations, and our surrounding environment through a gentle and nurturing lens. Mindfulness also involves acceptance, meaning that we pay attention to our thoughts and feelings without judging them, without believing, for instance, that there's a right or a wrong way to think or feel in a given moment. When we practice mindfulness, our thoughts tune into what we're sensing in that present moment, rather than rehashing the past or imagining the future. So how often do our thoughts tune into the past? How often do our thoughts tune into the future? Quite often. And as we start to develop a mindfulness practice, or as you start to look a little bit more closely towards your thoughts and towards your feelings, you'll start to notice that a little bit more. So go ahead and get yourself comfortable. Lie down, sit down, wherever is comfortable. I'm sitting on a chair here. And just gently, in your own time, go ahead and close your eyes. And let's take a few deep breaths together. Breathe in. And out. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale deeply. And exhale completely. Inhale. And exhale. Breathe in. And breathe out. And just keep breathing. Slowly. And I want you just to notice, where are you breathing? Are you breathing through your nose? Are you breathing through your mouth? Are you doing a combination of these things? And what I'd just like to encourage you to do today is to breathe in and out through your nose. Breathe slowly. And breathe deeply. And notice how deeply are you breathing? Are you breathing deeply into the base of your lungs? If you are, you'll notice your belly expanding and contracting. Or are you breathing into your chest? It's very common for us just to breathe quite shallow into our chest region. And again, I would just encourage you today to breathe deeper into the base of your lungs, in what we call diaphragmatic breathing. Just allows us to take deeper breaths, allows us to provide even more oxygen to our bloodstream, to all the cells in the body. Our breath is so important. And again, in this wonderful upgrade of technology I have, you might just hear my housemate in the background. You might hear birds in the background. You might hear people outside my window. And just do your best to bring your attention back to your breath. Focus in on that movement of your belly expanding and contracting. And if you can just slow down just a little bit than you normally would, and just breathe just a little bit deeper than you normally would, that's enough. That's all we have to achieve for today. The focus of today's session is peace. So, as always, let's define peace. And I don't mean world peace, although that's a wonderful thing to consider. I'm looking at it from perhaps a more personal perspective, but I would say they're highly related. I value peace of mind, my own personal well-being, higher than anything else. It's my number one priority. Now that may seem counterintuitive to what many people suggest is socially acceptable. But in prioritizing my own peace, by prioritizing my own well-being, I ensure that I'm in the best possible position to be of service to others, both professionally and personally. So I really like this definition from the Cambridge Dictionary, which states that peace is the state of not being interrupted or annoyed by worry, problems, noise, or unwanted actions. The state of not being interrupted or annoyed by worry, problems, noise, or unwanted actions. Now, we cannot control external factors. We cannot control the sounds, the distractions, the challenges that we might face. And so every day, as we live our lives, we encounter different things. We may encounter problems. We may encounter worry. We may encounter unwanted actions. But we don't have to be interrupted or annoyed by these. We don't have to be knocked out of our focus or peace. Just previous to this session, I just popped to the local shop and bumped into a neighbour. And they were agitated that they'd held the door open for someone and not received a thank you. And I thought, what a brilliant example to bring into our practice today. Gosh, why don't people have any manners? Can't believe it. The action or inaction in this case of another person had interrupted my neighbour's peace. And when we link this back to our definition of mindfulness, remember, mindfulness involves acceptance. We pay attention to our thoughts and feelings without judging them. And we can do the same for actions. We can do the same for the actions of others. And when we do this, we can absolutely maintain peace. We can absolutely avoid that annoyance. When we look to the world exactly as it is, not how we would like it to be, not how we think it should be. We accept the world around us exactly for how it is. Our peace of mind can be safeguarded. Infinitely safeguarded. And that doesn't mean that annoyance or frustration or upset is not experienced. but it means that we can experience these feelings with peace, with grace, with compassion. In a moment, I'm going to count down from 5 to 1. And when I get to 1, just bring your awareness back to the moon. The moon? No, the room in front of you. I don't know if you can see the moon. I don't know where that came from. Try not to rush off anywhere. Try not to jump back into your thinking. Just do your best to stay here in this feeling. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone. Thank you so much for giving yourself some time today. I just want to say that we all still get caught up in that annoyance, in that frustration, in that agitation from time to time. I don't want you to think that I don't. What we can learn is to get caught up in it less. And if anyone's seen any of my workshops, you might have heard me say, 5 years ago, I probably got caught up in things 95% of the time. And now I get caught up in things maybe 90% of the time. So as much as I lead these sessions and provide this space, I still get caught up in those things, Still get caught up in those feelings, still get caught up in that judgment. And that's why it's so important for me to ensure that my peace is, as much as I can, a priority. Because the more that I look after my peace, the less I get caught up in all of those other things, the less I sweat the small stuff, if you like. So thank you so much again for your attention. If you've got any comments or any questions you'd like to ask, now is a good time. Just looking outside my window, it's really started to bucket down with rain now as well, which is hilarious. Somebody said, thank you very much. That was so peaceful. Ah, you're so welcome. So welcome. Somebody says here, hi Henry, great session today. I have started reading The Untethered Soul. Do you have any other good book recommendations or meditation practice and meditation practice and self-discovery? Thanks. Yes. Is that Untethered Soul? Is that Brené Brown? If you can let me know, that would be great. I've heard of The Untethered Soul, but I haven't read it, but I know lots of people who have. So yeah, absolutely. Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now, would be my #1 recommendation. If you're already reading a few and like looking for that kind of next step, if you like, I would also recommend his other book, A New Earth, another book of his rather. That is a great book. So The Power of Now is probably the most well-known. A New Earth is a great book as well. I would also recommend Conversations with God. I don't know if you've heard of that one. That's a really good book. And I can't not recommend The Missing Link by Sydney Banks. And also another book called Clarity by Jamie Smart. So I would say that those books have been very influential on the way that I've come to see mindfulness less as a practice and more as a philosophy for life. And it's helped me to understand that, and it's helped me to understand the mechanisms in place, let's say, and understand my thoughts and feelings much better. So there's a few book recommendations there. But I would also say to you not to rush into the next book. Always give yourself time to let that, whichever book you're reading, soak in, because there can be a tendency to go for the next book, the next book, the next book. And really, that kind of distracts from the purpose of these books, because you want to understand and ingrain some of that knowledge. I became a junkie for self-development books, and you finish one, you go to the next one, you finish one, you go to the next one. So brilliant. You're so welcome, Rahina. Mary, you're so welcome. And it's sunny there. Well, the sun must have moved over to you in that half an hour. Untethered Soul is by Michael Allen Singer. Okay. Books by Brené Brown then. Brené Brown is a very popular author as well. But yeah, thank you all so much for coming. And yeah, I'm always here. So please do ask any questions that you want. Send me a note, and we can see if we can help out in any way. And yeah, thank you so much. And I will see you again next week. Have a lovely week, and take care.